Welcome to American Black Journal. I'm Stephen Henderson. As we approach the new year, a group of young Detroiters is urging residents to celebrate without gunfire. The 13th annual Hugs Not Bullets campaign launched this week. It's a partnership between youth leaders and the Detroit Police Department. The young people are involved in the Youth Initiatives Project at the Neighborhood Service Organization. They're not only focusing on New Year celebrations, but they also want to reduce gun violence throughout 2017. As part of the campaign, the youth leaders will engage students on the importance of conflict resolution and hold workshops to address bullying and gang activity. My first guest serves as program director for the Youth Initiatives Project, Frank McGhee. Welcome back to American
Pleasure
Black
to be here.
Journal.
Thank you.
Good to see you. So, Hugs Not Bullets. I love that. I love that title because you know, this is really the only city I've lived in where that New Year's gun thing is really, it seems out of control.
This is true.
I've lived other places and there's always scattered reports of that thing. Here, it's a pretty concentrated problem.
And actually, we're seeing it spread across the country in terms of
Is that right?
the frequency of these events. New Orleans, some parts of Chicago, even as far away as Los Angeles, is experiencing the same problem.
Yeah.
And that's why we had to raise awareness. Yeah, we had to raise awareness because we have children living in the neighborhoods,
Right.
and we don't want bullets impacting, hitting homes or going through windows and hurting young people.
And we should be clear, just because you fire a bullet up in the air and think you're celebrating, it doesn't mean that that bullet won't find somebody or something and do damage. I mean, shooting a gun in the air is about as dangerous as it is shooting it, you know, forward at something or somebody.
I have a brick bungalow, and on the side of that home, I have 2 bullet holes lodged into bricks.
Is that right?
And that's obviously from that tradition.
Right, right. So talk about how your project at NSO is working with these young people.
Well, this is great. The Youth Initiatives Project was founded by the youth themselves in September of 1999 at the Detroit Public Library, the main branch.
Yeah.
And during that time, a group of youth came together demanding better ways to have safety for the children themselves.
Yeah.
They felt that they weren't being respected in the community at that time, and it was a citywide effort that was launched by the youth to address that problem. We expected about 100 youth to show up. We had about 250.
Wow.
And it indicated the severity of the problem here, that their voices were not heard.
Yeah.
Over time, this campaign grew when there was a large gun buyback event held in, I think, 2004. And after that, the youth said, let's have a campaign on a yearly basis. And this is a planning committee that represented at that time over 200 kids.
Yeah.
And now, what we have now is every year in December, we kick off a year-long campaign addressing the issue of celebratory gunfire and gun violence. Although now we address the issue of celebratory gunfire because of the holidays,
Yeah.
but gun violence is addressed throughout the year.
Right, right. And the idea is to sort of redirect, right?
You have to.
Find other ways for people to express, you know, either celebration in the case of New Year's or hostility in the case of the gun violence we see.
And the youth do it in a variety of different ways. It does involve partnerships and resources, but it also involves bringing opportunity to our community. Recently, just a little over a month ago, there was a wonderful event held at Cobo Hall, creating opportunities for young African-American males between the ages of 18 and 29 to secure employment. And just over 1,200 was able to show up at Cobo Hall, with over 500 getting employment opportunities right there.
Right there. Right.
That's something that doesn't always happen.
Yeah, yeah. When you talk about employment and its connection to these problems, you know, I think about the neighborhood that NSO is in, the work that that's being done in that neighborhood. Boy, you know, jobs really are the thing that will help move the needle.
And training and education is all tied into that as well.
Yeah.
And so we're advocating for those opportunities as much as we can. We have a lot of organizations throughout the city that's working hard on that. I know the Neighborhood Service Organization has another youth program called Youth Link that addresses employment for that population between 18 and 29. It is extremely important that that population figures into the equation of success in Detroit. We cannot have two cities, one separate and unequal.
Yeah, yeah. The young people that you're working with, what do they tell you about the things that they see or the things that they're worried about, not just in their neighborhood, but in their city, in their country?
The biggest fear they have is lack of education. That is huge. The training involved with that, the access to computers, if you will. There is a digital divide that exists, and it's not a matter of just putting computers in different locations for young people to have access to. It's actually learning these opportunities, and we're not even talking about social media.
Right.
This is something much deeper, being able to use these assets, these resources as tools that will help move them forward.
Yeah.
Because
They're not
society's
getting that
changing.
in the schools.
They're not getting enough of that.
Yeah.
They're not getting enough of that. And so that's why we had to pursue that with all conviction that this must be done for our young people. When I speak of our African American males for a reason, because unfortunately they're disproportionately
They're at the
impacted.
highest risk.
That's
Sure.
right.
Yeah.
And so we want them to remain in school and not part of the school to prison pipeline. So that's another concern of theirs. The amount of marijuana locations to buy marijuana, you would think, well, what's the big deal with that? Well, that access leads to some other issues that must be regulated in some way. Right. And so our youth are concerned, and they have spoken out. Many of them have come together and put together a petition. About 1,200 of them signed a petition promoting equity in education across the board.
Yeah. The youth who participate in the program obviously get the message. How do you get it to other young people who are not part of the initiative?
And that's my favorite group. I love them. They are not connected. They are unaware of what those resources are, simply because it's not been brought to them, or they've been discouraged and told that this is not for you.
Right.
We knocked that down very well, and it does require vigilance. We're in the communities, we're in the neighborhoods, we're in the community centers, we're in the churches, reaching out to them. And what's beautiful about this, the youth are talking to their peers. Yeah. That's more effective than anything.
Right.
And they in turn become the experts for those who are service providers. In order for us to really make an impact with that population, we have to listen to their needs.
Yeah, yeah. That one-to-one contact between them is the key.
It's crucial, and it's really the secret sauce, if you will, to our success.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, we had 7 years ago, we had our Hugs Not Bullets campaign, and we had a postcard that it looked like a large sign, but basically was promoting, discouraging celebrating gunfire. Celebrating New Year's with gunfire. That's all it was. It was designed by the youth themselves. And to support that campaign, as simple as it sounds, all you had to do is sign this postcard. We had probably 6,000 or 7,000 signatures, right. But they took that postcard to different locations throughout the city. And for those who were like 21 to on up, young adults, they wanted this postcard to go to clubs, if you will, where you have fun.
Right.
We had people standing in line to sign that sign that postcard. That's how powerful that message is, because they want to be a part of a movement that was much larger than themselves.
Yeah. Quickly before we have to go, I know funding is a big part of the questions about funding are a big part of what happens at NSO. There's always a need for more money. We seem to be entering a political era where there may be less, or at least that the fight for funding for places like NSO is going to be tougher. Talk about what that looks like from your chair.
I think from my chair, we had to educate the funding sources. We know they're astute in many ways in doing what they do, but the challenge, of course, is the advocacy side of it. Because there's so much is happening in our country, and we had to educate those who are unaware of what our young people really go through. And the second thing is about the conviction to do this work and how we do it. And so investing in our young people really is investing in the future of our city.
Right, right. Making that point and making sure everybody understands it. And one of the great things about what you're doing is it's not just about getting people what they need now, it's about getting them skills and opportunity to get the things they need later.
Exactly. In so many ways, education has been cut in different levels, and basically we are bankrupting, socially and academically bankrupting our country, and we have to turn that around.
Yeah. All right, Frank McGhee, as always, thanks for being here.
It's a pleasure.
Good luck on New Year's Eve.
You bet.